It's a very new idea, something that you won't have seen in Balimo before today. If you can imagine one of your local four-wheel drives, one of your Range Rovers or Land Cruisers, without wheels.
A crucial aim of the expedition is to train a team of locals to drive and maintain the hovercraft.
On a big cushion of air. And that's how...
It's Graham Benke's job to show them how.
The way it works is by a couple of fans inside the hovercraft itself. One of them is here, and it draws air in through a hole in the top of the hovercraft and blows it down underneath, like this. And this air gets trapped by the the big bag underneath.
I think it must be very difficult for the drivers, actually, because there's nothing else around that is like a hovercraft. One or two of them may have driven tractors. None of them have got driver's licenses, so their experience is very limited. It is a totally new concept to them, so they're finding it quite difficult at the moment.
Come in and they're blown out the back by these big fans, and that pushes the hovercraft forward.
There are 4 people being trained to drive the hovercraft. One of them is Takami Saida.
I was scared because it was new to me and then it was a bit fast. When I first drove it, it was a bit difficult to me because tractors are a bit different than hovercraft. Because tractors got clutch and brakes, but this one, instead of brakes and clutch, there's a leg steering at the hovercraft. So I thought that I was trying to change the gears, but instead I was turning the hovercraft around on the direction which I was pressing my rails.
This is actually quite a frustrating time. The hovercraft are working, but they're not working well, and they're not working up to specification. The engineers are gradually improving things, but we seem to be spending more and more time in the garage when I want to get out and about and see how far we can go. But I suppose at least the Nationals are getting a good lesson in mechanics.
Second old drum going in. You got it, Michael?
Yep, got it.
I think that's
all right.
That's good. Made for it.
All my expeditions have been very military, and therefore I've always had a higher command to go to. Here we're out on our own. We've raised the money to come out as a group of Christians. We've got to do the job as a group now. If we want anything, we've got to send for it from here. We can't just pass the buck.
Hey, look, you're tipping it. Yeah. No, just lift it up. Gordon. Yes. Well, they must have done. Give them a shout from the hospital, because they know they're taking you.
The frustrations of Papua New Guinea, I suppose, are much the same as any third world country.
Oh, for goodness sake, can't people do as they're told?
We come from a land where communication is easy, telephones are easy, the roads are there, and so communication is taken for granted. Here, the opposite is true.
Why did they go without you?
So I never expected the infrastructure to be easy, and it will cause a continuous frustration, but nothing unexpected.
Try get them on the radio from the hovercraft and bring them back. Okay, can you reach them from there? Thanks so much. Cheers, Paul. Goodness me. Goodness me.
The main purpose of the expedition is to reach the Fly River in our hovercraft. It's so remote. There are villages down there with no effective medical services at all. There only seem to be 2 possible routes. Down the Aramea River to the estuary, but that's open water and probably too dangerous for our hovercraft, or upriver to Arley and then cutting south through the swamps.
This is the forest just south of Arley, and that's all. It's far too thick. So what I'm looking for as we come up to Arley now is a gap with a creek that goes south from Arley, and that should take us most of the way. There's the creek we want to follow. Keep going. Looks like it's going straight south. Well, it's fairly thick in places, but it's worth a try to see how far south we can go.
This is fantastic. Just what I've been looking forward to most. Going into the unknown and exploring and seeing just how far these craft can go. Navigation-wise, we've got a global positioning system on board, so it should be easy. But actually it's quite hard. The maps are old, the rivers are constantly changing course. The reality is it all looks the same. There are no major features to work on.
Come on, Jonathan, you found your way out once. You found your way out once. Can't go through there. Then that's the fuel now. We're right on the minimum that I've set to return to Kuitor. We haven't quite got to Arley. This is a disappointment, but I suppose this is an example of Papua New Guinea at its logistic best or worst. I've tried for 4 weeks now to get 2 drums of fuel upstream to Arley or Macapa, which is 2/3 the way, to give us some fuel in which to get through to the fly, but this is not the route. But there we are. That's the way these expeditions go, and we're running out of time. And I haven't got time to get the fuel back to Arley to have another go, much as I'd love to.